talk about some stuff and take it away.
Yeah, guys, tonight what we want to do is keep this one centered on training. And if you guys saw the newsletter that came out about 10 days ago or so, we talked about now that you've signed up for a class, what should you do or what should you expect? Looking at the comments from students last year, if you have all the equipment on the gear list, you're ready to go. You have the night vision, you have ways to carry ammunition, you have the appropriate clothing. But one of the questions we constantly get is, what do I need to bring?
Yeah.
What should I buy before the class? And, probably the number one comment that we saw from our students last year was how they wish they had a high mount on their carbine before they came to class.
So like a tall mount for their
tall
optic.
Mount, that 2.25, 2.26 inch.
2.26, yeah.
Yeah, Unity making them for a couple different optics. ADM makes it for MROs.
Knight's Armament.
Scalarworks.
Geissele.
Yeah, they're out there, guys.
Reptilia.
And so we really recommend, if on your optic for your carbine is get that optic as high as possible, and that's going to help you out with the passive aiming portion that we teach. I know you guys are teaching it at Green Line, and allow you to get that goggle, get your night vision goggle behind the optic.
Well, with that said, that definitely applies for red dot sights. If you're wanting to jack a LPVO up and shoot passively, that's a little different story. Most LPVO, you can do it, but I really recommend piggybacking something at the 12 o'clock red dot sight wise above an LPVO and keeping your LPVO low.
Yeah.
So even with like LPVOs that have the illuminated center dot or center reticle, your biggest issue is going to be your eye relief. So a lot of people don't take that in consideration if they're trying to do passive aiming through an LPVO, because your normal eye relief in the daytime, now you factor in you've got something that's roughly 3.5 inches long protruding from your face, give or take. So you've got to figure out how to work that eye relief. So it's just not suitable, and offset red dots or one that's at the 12 o'clock is the answer for guys that want that true all-purpose LPVO gun.
And we really haven't seen a good way to utilize the LPVO under night vision. You have
to tweak your focus from your day focus to a night focus, basically.
Yeah.
And then obviously eye relief issues being what they are. Additionally, environmental lighting comes into play, and like you're not going to be able to precisely aim like you would a red dot.
Yeah, red dots excel under night vision.
I almost venture to say that LPVOs and night vision passive shooting, not
ideal,
borderline not viable. You can do it if you know exactly what you're doing, but it takes a whole lot of practice, steep learning curve, and
it's really difficult. So, guys, if you're looking at spending money before a class, get that optic up high. I think it's a common consensus, no-brainer. It's money well spent, and you're going to get the most out of the training with that high optic. The second point is red dot on handguns. Mm-hmm. It's voodoo, how well it works, and trying to pick up a traditional iron sights, even night iron sights under night vision goggles, it just doesn't work.
The disparity between shooting your big glowing pumpkins versus a nice crisp night vision compatible red dot is, we used to teach that technique, lining up your orbs and shooting like that, and it was basically point shooting, though you had some semblance of sights, but it was amazing that we were able to pull off body shots at 10 yards. But with night vision compatible optics, you are moving and shooting in awkward positions and one-handed and support side.
Yeah.
It's super, super viable now.
Yeah, like tritium, like night sights on pistols. There's a lot of issues with those. it's just real fuzzy. They're never crystal clear. And like Sam was saying, about 10 yards is all you can really do. And that's kind of getting to know the relationship between three big fuzzy dots and understanding your front sight post from your two rear, or whether you got the straight eights or whatever. But that's why we recommend the red dots on pistols. And I'm not a fan of lasers on pistols either.
No, too hard to find a good holster. I mean,
Right.
That's really the crux of the matter is a light and a red dot on a handgun, and your handgun is set. And you know, there's some discussion, and we've seen students try to, like, if they're running a 14, try and pick up their sights with their unaided eye, or if they're running binoculars, try and look under and catch those sights. But
Yeah.
it does work, and it can work. But the issue turns into it's just not as easy and as accurate and as fast as a red dot.
It's 2021.
Yeah.
We put optics on our pistols because they're proven, they're reliable, they're viable, and you know, the capability you get with, especially with night vision. Well, really anything. I mean, I don't see really any cons to a red dot on a pistol if you've had the training and you are aware of the nuances of a red dot on a handgun. I mean, I think I own one gun that is iron sighted, and I have like 5 that have, you know, optics on them. So, and I only do that just to antique every once in a while.
Well,
Right.
that and we put red dots on handguns, like why we put red dots on carbines. I mean,
Right.
it's
It's 2021. It's the year of the unspoken year of the night fighter, so to speak, where the big trend, as we have seen and as you guys know, is there's a lot of folks out there that are training junkies, and that's awesome. That's rad. And their next step is night vision, and that's what I tell pretty much anyone that I come across at, you know, normal firearms classes is, you know, what's the next step? Well, you know, night vision's probably should be on your radar because you know, it's dark half the time, and seeing in the dark and being able to identify something before it identifies you is probably one of the most valuable things or tools you can have. Sure, flashlights are great, but you know, flashlights are a two-way street.
But that's why with both the Green Line and the TNVC classes, it's night fighter.
not night vision.
Not night vision fighter.
Right.
Because certainly there's night vision training going on, but there's low light.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
because
and
it's all about utilizing all the tools in your toolbox.
And understanding what they're capable of, what their limitations are, and picking the right tool at the right time to solve a problem.
Right.
You know, and finally, if I had to, you know, one last recommendation is quality clothing. You know, when you come to training, it makes a difference. We've seen everything from guys in tank tops
Yeah.
to, you know, dudes wearing, you know, $700 worth of Arc'teryx. And the more comfortable you're at the class.
That's just the top. That's just the jacket.
That's just the
The
jacket.
So
jacket's
what's it like when
$700.
Eric shows up in a tank top?
It's pretty cool.
Weird.
So
Well,
it's
It gets pretty uncomfortable for folks
Well,
who are
so
standing next to me, but
let's talk about like what is night vision training and what is not night vision training, and why
right.
night vision training.
Spicy
You know,
topic.
oh, absolutely spicy topic. And I'm
Spicy
gonna probably
topic.
ruffle some feathers and say some things that are probably gonna get me some unsubscribes and, you know, hate mail and stuff like that, which, you know, more people hate me than know.
watching
who
the
both
numbers
use-
drop right
Yeah,
now.
But I couldn't imagine spending, you know, X amount of thousands of dollars on a piece of gear, hardware, and, you know, that gives you, you know, incredible capability, and then not wanting to be able to milk 100% of that capability out of that piece of gear. I mean, it would be like buying a $6,000 sniper rifle and never going to a precision class. It boggles my mind that people would, you know, invest all that money to, you know, maybe they stumble across some stuff, but who knows how long that would take you time-wise, and how much ammo you would shoot.
Yeah.
Trying to figure that. I mean, and ammo ain't cheap nowadays.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you can do it 1,000 times, but that doesn't mean you're doing it right 1,000 times. You could be doing it wrong 1,000 times. And sure, night vision, it's mostly plug and play. I mean, you pop a battery in it, turn it on, and you can see in the dark. But there's a lot of nuances that go along with it. And one of the biggest things that we see, and this is often from regular folks like myself, all the way up until tip of the spear, even in some cases, night vision is not a cloak of anonymity, and it's not an invisibility cloak either. You can still be seen in the dark. Just because it's dark and you have on night vision doesn't mean that other folks with normal nighttime or normal vision under nighttime, the eyes are adapted to the darkness. It doesn't mean that they can't see you. I mean, there's street lamps, there's ambient light from stars, clouds are going by, moon might peek out.
Your own movement.
Your own movement.
Say if you have a dark adapted eye and your eyesight's not all screwed up from years of doing bad things to your eyes.
Right.
I have looked across a field in the middle of the night with a full moon, and I could clearly see a man walk out into that field 500 meters away, and
That's when he left you.
As you walked out of your
the
life.
first time.
He walked out on you.
The first time.
You walked away.
Yeah. Let's do a few questions and then we'll get back to our chatter. Let's see. Alliance Ohio, classes for LE only. So, good question. We don't limit ourselves to doing LE only classes. We open enrollment, and there are some prerequisites, but for the most part, those prerequisites are you have to show competency in basic firearm skills or some type of vetted curriculum beforehand, because things get a little different under goggle, and especially there's plenty of RSOs on the line, and nothing's unsafe, but things happen in the dark, and we can't always see everything, and we want people to be competent in their fundamentals first and foremost. That way, you're not fumbling around in the dark. But that being said, I mean,
Well, Dawn does have an LENVO.
Well, I think
Yeah.
the question was
But-
is Alliance LE only?
Oh,
And it's not.
No.
And
No.
in fact, Alliance Ohio is one of the gems of the firearms training
it's
community.
the Hawaii of the
I mean,
Midwest.
they put 10,000 students through that facility every year, and
It's the belly button of the United States.
so that just because it's at the Alliance Police Training Center doesn't mean it's restricted to law enforcement only. So
Right.
those classes are
I love
open.
love going to Alliance, but it's
Alliance is
fucking
good.
dump.
Yeah. It's a
Sorry,
long-
Joe.
Yeah, sorry, Joe.
Not the range, but just your community. It's a
Just
cesspool.
just stop right now.
Sorry. Clean it up.
It's,
Yeah.
more unfollows to Sam. So all right.
Yeah, but they're from
but-
Alliance.
Yeah.
So if you're watching right now and you're curious, should you hang on? There might be something a little special for you at the end of the live stream that we're going to give out. So
Oh, really?
stay tuned, and it could be beneficial for you. It may not. I don't know. You could maybe give it to your grandma, or maybe keep it for yourself or a neighbor.
No, but go to Alliance. I mean, they offer tons of classes there. Tons of trainers come through.
You can see where Pat Rogers
Yeah,
attacked the ground.
where you attack the ground. But I mean, it's a great place to train, and
There's a mecca for training.
it is.
It's a cool place.
Great place
it's a
to
great
go.
facility,
Very progressive.
Great people.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not law enforcement only. If you were inquiring about law enforcement only classes, TNVC doesn't do those. We can. If your agency is interested, contact us. It's
Yeah.
night vision
Yeah.
specific,
Yep.
and Green Line does law
we can-
enforcement classes only.
We can do LE only or agency only classes as well. So.
Yeah, the benefit though to Green Line is not only do they do tailored classes in night vision, they also offer other firearms training as well. So if your team needs to get spun up on red dots on pistols so that you can get those approved through the department, or your team needs to do like a patrol rifle class, or designated marksman classes, all that stuff that's in their curriculum, and they can get you squared away.
Yeah. Got another
Um,
question?
Yeah.
So,
Wait.
well, before we go on,
Well, hurry up.
well, don't interrupt me, Eric. It's very rude. Why don't you just sit there and be pretty? Yeah, well, that's hard.
That's a word.
Let's talk about, what is training and what is, a lot of people are like, oh, I've had night vision training. What you actually did was you practiced something. You didn't actually have training. The difference between training and practice is training is exposure to new, we'll call them TTPs, by somebody with, some type of curriculum, where they're putting you through, X number of structured reps and exposing you to new techniques and procedures and stuff like that. And it is a way to, I would say, grasp the basics of certain things, and it allows you, you can then kind of go back on your own and practice and refine those TTPs that you learned at training through practice.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you get, I was in the Army for 4 years. I've had night vision training.
Yeah.
That probably couldn't be further from the truth for about 95% of people.
Right.
If you were in certain units, that's different.
Yeah.
But for the average guy, no, I'm sure you see it, whatever MOS comes in and he's struggling. He's struggling, at least for the first couple of hours. And after that, they're like, wow, I learned more in the first, 4 or 5 hours of class than I did in 4 to 6 years in the military. So,
yeah, that's true. Everybody, I would like to think, whatever class you take, whether it's a TNVC or a green line class, that you're going to come out of it a lot better than you were going in. And that's even for dudes that have years and years and thousands of hours under the goggle, because there's just certain things that we talk about and discuss and go over, and stuff like that maybe not everybody knows everything, and we always learn something as well from classes.
Yeah,
we'll take little pieces of information.
We are all consummate students.
Students,
You will see us at other people's classes.
Right.
And I ask questions. I talk to high level dudes at Elbit Systems America and L3 Harris.
Yeah.
Because I don't know everything, and they might have some golden nuggets for me that I can impart on people. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go to a few questions here. What are you looking for gear-wise for a try before you buy event? So talk about that a little bit. What are you going to have available at the try before you buy events?
Yeah, so try before you buy. It'll be about 8-hour event where you're going to come in. We'll do about a lecture for about an hour or so, and then we're going to put the gear in front of you, explain all the components of the gear, its function, how it works, and then basically do a series of round robins where maybe you start off with a 14 and you have a DTNVS and I have an RMVG, and we're going to go out and do some tasks with that goggle, come back, and then we're going to switch. So, and we're going to rotate between green and white and binocular, so you can kind of see the advantages and disadvantages, what you like and dislike about each system. We'll do some a small amount of live fire, so you can get a laser demonstration and understand what's going on. But the idea is basically imagine a 8-hour
buffet.
Buffet, and also like a phone call that we would normally take 45 minutes or an hour trying to talk to you about. We're going to spread that over a period of about 8 hours while we let you try each one of the systems and answer questions about them, and ultimately in the end help you make an informed decision about what the right system or the right setup is going to be for you as you go forward and want to make a purchase. So you should see DTNVSs, RMVGs, as we get the 31s in from and 1531s in from L3, they'll be out there. We'll have 14s. Yeah, no panos at the try before you buy, which is actually one of my huge questions. And then Ops Core will be, we'll have a couple of the different type of bump helmets and the skull mount out there to really just help you make an informed decision about what the right gear is for you.
So this event is kind of like if you went to Costco on a Saturday for 8 hours and just walked around and ate all the samples.
But there's only 8 of you.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too is we're going to keep it at an intimate level so that you
can be intimate with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like speed dating, but like more physical.
Yeah.
Bill, you're rocking like freaking Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, are you about to go to sleep?
No, I'm good. It's just my old man syndrome kicking
Definitely
in.
got to watch
Definitely,
So-
definitely,
Definitely.
25.
But no, it's going to be a good time. Our first 3 of them are already sold out. And I think the last couple that we're doing, are filling up quickly. We're probably going to introduce at least one more in the fall, I think, up in Montana. So yeah, it's been pretty popular, and you'll get a proportional credit of your tuition towards your purchases as you if you decide to make a purchase with us.
Word.
Yep. Another question: what does red dot sight height matter if you're using an IR laser to aim the rifle for passive aiming? So passive aiming is when you're not actively emitting any infrared light or visible signatures into the atmosphere, whether it's visible or in the infrared spectrum. So you're using the dot in your optic to make shots. And the reason why you want a taller mount for that is because the way that the goggle is on your helmet, it needs to be a little bit higher for you to get more of a straight look through that optic. Whereas if it were a lower mount, you're going to have to get your head kind of down there and crank it to the side. So you can still do it with a low mount, but
Yeah,
tall mounts are great.
I actually do teach a technique where you
roll it.
pivot the gun and you roll it inboard about
Yeah.
10, 20
Yeah.
degrees, and I can pick it up real easy in a lower 1/3.
Yeah.
But under night vision, you have two types of aiming. You have passive aiming, where you're not, emitting that laser, and then and like lack of better term, active engagements, where you're using your laser to engage. And there's a time and place to do either one of them, and it's mostly us just exposing you to those, so you can again apply that right technique to your situation.
Yeah. Another good question: why do folks pop holes in the front cover caps on their nods? Well, there's a lot of good reasons, but essentially what it acts as two things. It limits the light entering the tube, which also helps it focus a little bit more, I would say, on a couple different planes. Normally, when you have your goggle on your head, you have what's called an infinity focus. That's basically like you look at the stars and those are crispy. And then anything that's about, I would say, a little bit longer than arm's distance, it's going to become blurrier as it gets closer to you. It's because there's not a manual focus inside of that system. I'm sorry, there's not an automatic. There's a manual focus that you have to dial in. So those holes, by limiting the light coming into the tube, they actually essentially crisp up that focus and allow you to be able to see things closer.
It just alters the aperture.
Yeah, it's just pinhole apertures.
It's a poor man's refocusing device.
Right, and there's other stuff that's more purpose-built out there that we recommend. Focus makes a device called the Hoplite. It's really cool. They have a bunch of different snap-in aperture pieces, so depending on the distance that you think you may be operating in, you can choose what aperture, and based on those, the amount of light you'll need coming into the tube. Those are really cool. What's the other company?
Tarsi Eclipse.
Eclipse.
Yeah, Tarsier
Yeah.
Eclipse. Mattbach makes a
Mattbach.
Tarsier Eclipse. Yeah, you can always do the pop holes in your rubber bikini covers.
And I think a common misconception too is like if I have an infinity focus and I put these, whether it's a homemade solution or a factory solution, is now I can see like 15 feet away.
Right.
And that's not how it works. Those devices are like arm's length focus devices, and so if you're trying to go from infinity focus to something that's 15 or 20 feet away, you're still going to have to manually focus your goggle.
I get a lot of questions before classes, after classes,
Yeah.
about should I buy focus, and generally my advice is this: unless you've shown an operational need for that thing, that refocusing device, you probably don't need to. You can do the homemade remedy,
Yeah.
but just get good at cranking
Yeah,
your
yeah.
focus. And
Just-
it works. I used to be in a JTAC unit, and those guys definitely needed them. They needed to be reading, 9 lines and maps and stuff like that, and then be able to look out on the bombing range and see stuff. And for those types of guys, or maybe like a breacher setting charges
Yeah,
on a
or
door,
a medic.
a medic.
Medic.
But I think we'd all agree that like a focusing device is something that A, you shouldn't buy before a class,
Right.
but
Correct.
B, after a class if you see a need or or where that hardware is going to provide a solution for you, buy it after the class. And in fact, at our classes, I'm sure you guys have them too, where people wanted to try them out or whatever. We have a couple, that you can give it a try, see if you like it. But
Right.
it's definitely something that I would not buy specifically going into a class, but see what's going on. And when I talk to people on the phone about it, I say, is it a human problem or is it a hardware problem?
Right.
And focusing to a large degree is a human. It can be trained and it can be solved through practice and repetition and familiarity until it can't. And then that's when something like these hoplites, whatever, come in and
throw
they
some money
become
in
a
the
hardware
box.
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
we call those distance focus enhancers, and there's, like I said, the two most prominent ones that we use are those I named. But in night vision, I place everything into two categories: a want and a need. Distance focus enhancers typically are wants, unless you can identify your need. But worth a try. You don't need to go out and buy it, and it's not a necessity for our classes.
Yeah, for sure.
Next.
Besides
question.
TNVC and Greenline, who else do you recommend for NV training?
John Dufresne.
John
John
Dufresne,
Dufresne.
Kinetic Consulting.
Yep.
I think what?
Chuck Pressburg.
Chuck
Pressburg,
Pressburg.
Prep Consulting.
Jamie
Alex,
Caldwell.
Alex and Rudy at Ridgeline.
Yep,
Yeah.
Alex and Rudy.
Jamie Caldwell's doing some stuff, I think.
Maybe if like
Sig?
I know Bill Blowers is doing some.
He's
law
doing
enforcement
some.
stuff. He's not really doing much anymore
No.
though.
I don't know.
Um,
Those are the only one. For one,
But Mocha Bear is like my
yeah.
number one go-to.
Yeah.
yeah, John Dufresne with Kinetic Consulting is a TNVC ambassador. We support him in all of his endeavors. So is Greenline, Don with Greenline, and obviously Sam. So we support them. So those are our two ambassadors, but we don't mind recommending other vetted instructors. And if you have a question, always reach out to us and say,
Yeah.
hey, do you guys know about these guys or whatever. We know there's a lot of outfits out there, and we'd love to be able to tell you about them, but there's just some folks we don't know about and some things we haven't vetted or seen for ourselves. So
I'll ruffle some feathers. If your night vision instructor doesn't own night vision and has to borrow it to teach a class,
Right.
he's not a night vision instructor.
Right.
So
He's a puller.
just like we have to vet some of our students, you need to vet your instructors.
yes.
You know,
Yep,
there's
absolutely.
feathers ruffled.
Yeah, that's gonna make some people angry, but
More.
it is what it is.
Let's see. Yeah, your follower count continues.
More
to
hard
plummet.
truths from Sam.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions coming in about the GPM G18s. Yes, it's true. They are now civilian legal. And it's not like they were ever illegal.
No, they're
for
civilian
civilians to have.
available.
They're just available
Available
commercially.
for commercial purchase.
But again, we get a lot of questions about those. They seem to be a hot item. Of course, they're really cool.
You know,
You can't afford them.
they-
Hush.
Stop being poor, Sam.
Stop being poor, bro.
don't
I'll
make
throw
me
it right
touch
back
my
at-
401k.
No, they're really cool. It's a great opportunity. We're excited to, we talked about it during V-Shot about the work that went into getting them there. If you're a TNVC alumni from Night Fighter 101 or our professional, and you come to the alumni event, we're gonna have them there, so you can check them out. And that's kind of one of the little nuggets we're throwing out there to the alumni event. But
Yep.
they're pretty neat, and
Yeah,
They-
panos are good. They fit a really good role, and they were designed, for obvious reasons. But CQB and CQC stuff, they are just absolutely phenomenal at.
You know what they're not cool at?
What?
Well, wearing for 12 hours a night for
That's
like
true.
4 nights in a
That's
row.
true. Well, you gotta hit that gym, bro. Gotta
Right.
get that
Yeah.
neck work in.
Well,
bro.
not all of us have that freaking luscious mane of inbred incest on our heads.
Well, that's how my neck is so strong.
Yeah.
I whip my hair back and forth. That's what I do.
Uh-huh. Or
Driving is
somebody
another
does it.
benefit
Driving.
of the panos because
Yep.
you can actually drive a vehicle and you can see your side view mirrors. And of course,
flexing
do that
on the gram is big.
Flexing on the gram, of course,
that's
that's cool.
the big one. Right
You
It
there.
willing
gets
to
you like
bet
at
that-
least 3 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's always cool. And it'll get you broke.
Yeah, you can.
If you're,
Yeah.
not good
Yeah.
with money.
No, but seriously, they're a good
It's really
setup.
cool.
They are very.
If you can
very
afford
cool.
them,
yeah, get them.
you get them, but $42 grand probably ain't gonna really set you back that much.
If you can afford them, 42 grand ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Our classes, Bill, how long do our classes go?
So Night Fighter 101 is 2 nights.
Well, it depends on if Chip is talking.
Yeah, Chip.
First night
Chip
is
is
lecture.
Chief Longwind. So
Yeah. Night Fighter 101 is 2 nights, and Armed Professionals 3 nights. And generally, depending on the class and the tempo and how things are going, we'll go anywhere from 9 to 11 hours per night. So we can look at 18 to 22 hours for a Night Fighter 101, and then anywhere from 27 to 33, 34 hours in Armed Professional. So we'll go hard. And we have blasts doing it. And we go until either we've met our training objectives, the students are tired, or the sun comes up. And we had that several times last year where like the sun was coming up and we had to leave the range. So
that's something that we always, it's a case by case thing. We're looking for diminished return. So like if the shooters are looking just beat down, we'll kind of pool together and ask everybody, how you feeling? Is everybody kind of worn out? But we always push it 9 to 11 hours.
Yeah, reverse cycle's hard, especially
It's really
if people aren't used to it. But we go until we either are satisfied that we've reached what we wanted to do training wise, or until we've reached a point where, like Eric said, we're just not getting out of it what we're putting into it. So
that's a thing. What about Green Line? How long do you guys push it?
So we do it a little bit differently at Green Line. Not necessarily training hours wise. We at Green Line, Don and I, we kind of we have a night vision season, right?
Right.
Which usually starts about the time change in November and goes until generally April, sometimes May in the northern latitudes. But we usually begin class about 1400-ish. We do classroom lecture stuff while the sun is up, get the questions knocked out, hit everybody, front load the knowledge, so that when we get out there, there's not a lot of questions. We can get to training, but it usually gets dark about 1700, and we train from 1700 until midnight 30. So we're gonna get a solid 7.5 hours of like shooting range time. But you're gonna get 20-ish hours.
solid 10-hour day.
Solid 10-hour day. And then the next day we'll start a little bit later. There's a tiny little 20-30 minute lecture portion, and then we actually start the class when the sun is still up, and we do some daylight stuff, and we transition into that transitional lighting phase of dusk, where we're starting to work white lights and everything like that, and then we transition into full darkness, and we do white lights and darkness, as well as passive and active shooting. We hit handguns really hard. That is a big part of our curriculum. I would venture to say that you almost get a little mini red dot pistol class out of our night fighter class, which is I think shooting handguns in night vision is it's fun.
It's fun and
super fun.
It's a blast.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier than people, like the first time they pick up that dot, they're like, woo, and it's like, and the people that don't have red dots, like usually what we'll do is we'll let them, while the line is cold or while we have another relay going, we'll take an unloaded handgun and let them check out what a red dot looks like on their BGs. And again, that's why my comment is, everybody's like, I wish I'd known this before I showed up to class, or I would have put one on my gun,
we get a lot of people who they mean right, and I know what they're trying to do, but they show up with the wrong type of handgun optic or sight optic combo, and it's just so don't necessarily throw money at that problem yet. Going back to what I was saying earlier, we originally did classes that we'd go till 3-4 in the morning sometimes, but man, after overall, on average, most people just their circadian rhythm just is not set to the point where you can push them that hard, and by 1 o'clock they're zombies and they're just not getting anything. So that's why we have, our night vision season, and we try to stick to those hours as best as possible. And it usually works out really well for us.
Awesome.
If you're not a fan of, the midnight shift hours, the Vortex facility classes are the ones to look out for.
Yep. We're going there in 2 weeks, man.
2 weeks, yeah.
8
those are the ones
a.m.
to try to get in on.
8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and it's kind of weird to teach it, actually, because you're, like, expecting to be on this, like, I'm really tired, and I should be dragging, and then you come out of the range, and you look, and the sun's out, and you're like, this is just so
Am I in Alaska?
weird, Yeah. It's a fun place to shoot.
Well, speaking of that, should I do the whiteboard of knowledge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Break it out.
if you guys follow me on the YouTubes, here, this will be good. Right here, Bill. Right here.
Yeah, perfect.
Put it right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
That's perfect.
So, if I don't know if you guys can read that, but at the end of the night, at least Eric's covered up. I've got a couple of classes, both TNVC and Greenline Tactical, they're all open enrollment classes. They do have prereqs.
Stop picking your nose, Eric.
Yeah.
They do have prereqs. Read the course description on the website, but these are still open, and you could sign up for them. But the next one that Greenline has is actually an NVG shoot house right here where we're filming in Savannah, Georgia.
It's like 3 minutes that way.
It's February 20th, 21st. It's an indoor facility, so we're going to conduct the class during the day, so you don't have to, mess with your sleep cycle. It's like 9 to 5 kind of deal. But it's at the Blue Force Gear Joint Training Facility that, our buddy Chris Seisel manages. Great dude. And then the next class is that we have a night fighter class in Immokalee, Florida, the weekend after, February 26th and 27th. And then in March, Don has a NVG SPR DMR class. So if you've ever wanted to do some, quasi long range precision stuff with clip-ons and laser illuminators and engaging steel out to about 600 meters in pitch black darkness, we're doing a class that's March 27th and 28th in Immokalee, Florida, which is way down south. And then Don's got a live fire NVG shoot house in Alliance, Ohio, April 16th and 17th. There are prerequisites as far as training and gear. Obviously, ballistic helmets and armor is a requirement, and you have to meet the training prereqs. Now, TNVC.
Yeah, for us,
speak to that.
it looks a little repetitive. A lot of Alliance. That's because these are the next open classes where we have seats in them. Every location and every date up to June is actually sold out for us right now, but we do have wait lists. If you're interested in any of those classes, take a look at the dates and then send us a note to training@tnvc.com, and we go through that wait list pretty good once we know we have spots open up. Otherwise, open seats right now for the next 4 classes, Armed Professional, which is our lack of a better term, our level 2 class. We have a couple seats left over there. You got to be either a graduate of Armed Professional, Night Fighter 101, or a military law enforcement professional, or have attended like Greenline's Night Fighter class or Kinetic Consulting's class. Then we have a Night Fighter 101 in July. We have a Night Fighter 101 in September that have open seats. And then we have another Armed Professional in October. We're probably going to add another class in Montana in September as well, due to high demand up there of all places, believe it or not, which we're super excited to go back to. It's a rad place to train. And then we do have, I think, some more seats left in the Oklahoma class in the fall as well. But demand has exceeded expectations, even though we've expanded from basically Alliance, Ohio to all over the nation. It may not look like it, but it's because those classes have sold out, and and the response has been incredible. So pay attention to our website. If we announce new classes, we'll put it on the website. We're gonna put it on social media, and it's almost like firstest with the mostest at that point, because demand is pretty dang high. So that's what we're looking at like right now. Again, and we're trying to add as much as we can with where we can, what the white space that we have, and where we can get people to. So that's what we're looking like.
Maybe we'll just keep this up for the rest of this. So
Yeah,
people can
this
see it.
works pretty good.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you didn't see this and you have questions later, I'll try to throw it back up and let you guys see it, or you can always contact Bill, Eric, or I at TNVC,
Yeah, just
or reach out to Greenline.
Yeah, and if you guys got questions, you guys can, our training website has all the dates on there, and if,
Send Bill feet pics.
yeah, training. My email is
Eric at TNVC.
Eric
TNVC.com.
Sam at TNVC.com. So, anyways, all right, give us another question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's someone out there that asked, any chance of an Alaska class? Whomever you might be, we'd love to.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, find us a range that's suitable for shooting at night, suppressed and unsuppressed. Or
Depending on the time of
maybe,
year, it could
maybe
be
the
during
time,
the day.
depending on the time of the year, it doesn't
Like
have to be.
January, February, be a great time to do
Right.
a class up there.
Absolutely. Hit us up.
Hit us up and
10-person minimum, isn't it? 10-person minimum?
yeah, send us a note to training@tnvc.com, and we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, let's do it though.
Yeah.
'cause I want to go to
It'd be
Alaska.
cool.
Again.
Glacier Brew House in Anchorage. You'll thank me later.
Sounds awesome, yeah. Let's see. So there's a lot of questions about brand new folks to the night vision world, just got their first units. Maybe it was because of you picked it up after V-Shot, or maybe you just kind of lucked out and the timing is right.
You're scared of communists.
Yeah, you want to be able to see in the dark when you go pee at night and stuff like that. But basically, there's seems to be a recurring question that's like, what are some things that I can do to get more familiar with my system before I come and take a class? That way I don't feel like I'm, walking around on crutches, so to speak. What do you guys think? What are some good things that folks can do with their systems to get more familiar with just being comfortable under the goggle?
Turn off your lights in your house and walk
And
around.
pull them out of your safe and put them on your head. And it's what we talked about V-Shot too. Is like, just get them on your head. We had a student last year in our Montana class that went outside and mowed his lawn with his night vision goggles on. I mean,
I've done
it's a
that.
great story. I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome. But the truth of the matter is, almost anything you do, walking your dog,
Taking your trash out.
taking your trash out,
Even some really weird stuff you could do.
yeah.
If you wanted.
Feet
Yeah.
things.
yeah,
If you wanted
yeah.
feet things.
Scaring the
poop
kids, scaring the
Poop
wife. But seriously, the more you wear them, and figure out how you're the best way that you're able to see with regards to how the mount is working and focusing and everything else, that's going to help. But the truth of the matter too is, if you literally show up to our classes, either company, and you're like, here it is, and you're ripping open the bag to put them on for the very first time,
You're gonna struggle.
you're going to struggle, but we're going to help you get through it.
Yeah.
And so, the bottom line is their best use, and just get out there, put them on your head, and
Should've
go from
crushed it
there.
over your head.
I'll do yours.
Yeah.
So
And another thing I want to add, and I see this all the time, and it's one of my pet peeves. Don't rearrange the stuff on your rifle before you come take a class. Like, do that ahead of time. That way you can be familiar where your pressure switches are, your laser activation buttons are, all that crap. Because what we
Ask
see
Eric
too
to help
much,
you do it in the lecture portion of the
Yeah.
class. He loves
what
it.
we
loves
see
it.
too much is guys want to instantly Gucci up their rifle the day before they actually come to the class, and then they show up, and yeah, it looks cool, but it's not optimized for how they in their head they thought it might be optimized, but when it comes down to the range time, they
You
have
didn't
no idea
know
how to find
what
their
you
white
did.
light versus their You know, and it's just bad form. Don't do it. And if you do, we just make you do push-ups until you bleed. So
Or till we get tired.
Yeah.
Like, well, Don, he tells guys, he's like, I don't really want to have you alter the way you shoot during the day at night. You know, outside of a couple of little, you know, nuances here and there, but let's learn to work with our gear that we have set up for day shooting.
That and that's a huge comment too. Is I hear a lot of comments too about, well, this is my night gun, and it's like there shouldn't be a day gun and a night gun.
Yeah.
Like
This is my gun.
It's your gun, and so if it doesn't work for you in the daytime, or if it doesn't work for you at the nighttime, we want it to do both. And the same thing with your tactical gear setup. Everything else is it should work. And in our classes, what we find, especially with gear setup, is we start identifying
he's got too much shit.
gear placement or shortcomings there.
Too much
And then
stuff.
usually on night 2, we see guys, you know, before class starts and they're tweaking their gear a little bit, which is totally cool because they're modifying it so that it works better for them at night, which means it'll work just as good or even better in the daytime. Just as
It's just as good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't load up your plate carrier and stuff like that just because we're doing a night vision class. There's too many gear tumors. Just crap hanging off and slings getting caught up and people are wearing like Beats by Dre with the cords on them and shit. It's like you don't need to do that. Yeah, people got all that kind of stuff on and it doesn't work. Keep it simple. Run it as slick as you can. Because another thing that folks don't think about is noise discipline under night vision is just as important as white light discipline, or even just, you know, overall trigger discipline when you're on the range in general. Noise discipline is a big deal. You'd be surprised at how many people just forget about noise when they put their night vision on. They're stumbling around in a house or searching a building, and it's just like, I can hear you. I don't even need to see you. I know exactly where you are.
When
Sam, he breathes like really heavy. So
yeah, but you don't understand what you do to me. You have a gift.
yeah,
You can't learn this. Either you got it or you don't.
That's right,
and
man.
you got it. And
this is the Lord's blessing, baby. You know.
He's got that hair that just keeps on giving. Gets in your throat and shit. No, you know, when I was
Here's my mouth.
when I was running I used to own and operate a night vision hog hunting outfitting service, and I would take people into the swamp and we'd go hunt pigs, and just the amount of people that it just seemed like the art of walking around the woods was lost on an entire generation of people, and I'd have to like explain how to walk silently, you know, heel to toe, and you know, pick your lane and all that. You know, it's like, you know, I played outside when I was a kid. You know, I played, you know, cops and robbers and army and Indians.
That's because you're homeless. You live in a trash can.
You're gonna sit there and lecture me about being homeless, dude? Look at yourself. You look like everybody you've ever arrested in Glenn County that was white.
You look like you bartend at Hooters.
You look like a busted Daytona stripper. Okay? You look like Lorenzo Lamas. Well, his like malformed like unborn fetus brother who got the shit into the stick in the gene pool. That's who you look like.
Yeah, you look like you have fetal alcohol syndrome.
No, Eric.
Yeah, you do. It's your eyes. It's just your eyes.
What do you got?
It's just your eyes.
What are you wearing? You look like a lumberjack in Mr. Rogers' sweater fucked.
Hey Sam, nice tits.
Oh really, Eric?
Why don't you suck those
Why don't you take your shirt off?
Why don't you suck those in?
That's what the people want to see anyway.
Why don't you suck those in, huh?
Like, just put your
Sam,
feet up.
Sam, shiny.
Oh, hey!
Okay.
Here we go.
Let's get to a
Hey!
question.
Okay, sorry.
Now that we've gotten the,
I got a 5-year plan. What is it? Die?
Not die? We could literally just go back and forth insulting each other for 2 hours.
All day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anyway.
Let's see. Any bow hunting under nods? Not like, no, not bow.
Kyle probably.
Yeah, yeah. We've done like bolt gun or crossbow, if you will.
I don't have time to bow hunt anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't bow hunted in almost 10 years now.
Hunting is great. I really enjoyed it when I was able to do it. But that takes time and that takes money, and it's
You're poor.
Yeah, I'm poor, and I don't have the time. So that's just what it is. But we've done a crossbow night vision hunt in Texas. Put a PEC 15 on a crossbow and shot some pigs with lighted nocks. It's on YouTube. It's under our YouTube account here. Just search. I think it's just night vision crossbow hunt. But yeah, we did. It was a really, really sketchy thing that we did, and there was some mishaps there that weren't caught on camera. But overall, a good time. Almost died, but
you didn't.
too easy. Yeah. And then I think one of our buddies goes out with his nods when he goes gator hunting, and shines an infrared light and spots them, spots their eyes and stuff like that. He'll try to.
Gators.
He takes them with a bow, which is cool, but he doesn't really do it under nods, I would say.
Not like a bow and arrow, like a
Yeah.
bow. Like he hits him in the head. It's pretty badass. He's like the
Like
Donatello of night vision.
A boyo. He takes them with a boyo. Spins it around his wrist. Any prereqs for Night Fighter 101? Yeah, we went over that. You got to have reputable.
Reputable.
What is
Reputable.
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 The shining star of the
reputable.
Georgia public educational system over
Talking
here.
is hard, man.
Ah.
You got to have reputable, vetted, prior firearms training. So that's like,
Or recent military
Yeah.
law enforcement training.
Yeah, or recent military or law enforcement training. You basically, if you're unsure, send us your bio, like what you have done as far as firearms training, and we'll
It's case by
let you know
case thing
yes
as
or
well.
no.
Additionally, you got to be a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
We get that question a lot.
No felonies.
Can permanent residents attend the training? And right now, for us, it's U.S. citizens only.
Right. And no felony convictions, obviously.
Yeah, require like CCW or criminal background checks.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's
Great
pretty much it.
attitude.
Yeah, I say
So,
open mind, good
Yeah,
attitude.
positive attitude. We don't do
Read the course description and look at the gear list 2 or 3 times.
right.
That's
And then the other thing too is like we put ours up on ARFCOM and the night vision forums. Read the ARs. We're talking trends. We see some pictures of what students are doing. Usually, a couple students will pop up in there and talk about their experience, and
Yeah.
it's a good way to see what happens at classes too.
Yeah, and as far as content of the classes, we're not going to like talk about specifics. We'll do a general overview here, but we won't talk about like specifically what we do in all the classes because again, I mean, come to a class and see what we do. But
tell them about the Shiner cars. The Shriner cars are cool, man. That's the best part about the Night Fighter class.
Yeah.
One of the little Fez hats with the Wilcox shroud on it. That's fun.
Someone's asking, is it more familiarization or tactical applications, and what's the end result?
Yes.
Both. BOF. Both.
I think
Yeah.
Both.
and really for us, Night Fighter 101 is about capabilities,
Yes.
and Armed Professional is about limitations.
Yep.
And
That's
you
true.
know, and that's kind of the approach we take to it. So there's parts of it that are going to seem carbine course in nature, but that's because we're doing it at night, and how many people really have the opportunity to shoot at night under MVGs.
We'll talk to your local recruiter.
And yeah, exactly. That don't live in North Charleston or Chicago,
Or Detroit.
Or Detroit, yeah.
even
So,
then,
but then we'll also do some other application type stuff that allow you to work on your spatial awareness, hand-eye coordination, and do some different tasks in both low light and no light conditions, which are kind of fun.
Right. It's not just like there's a defined curriculum, and you have objectives there that we hope you meet, which everyone pretty much undoubtedly does. But yeah, it's not just some kind of free for all. It's very structured. You're going to feel like you got your money's worth, and again, you're going to leave knowing more and feeling better about yourself and your capabilities than when you came. That's at 101 or even more professional.
Yeah.
And you'll also know, hey, I didn't quite get this skill down. I should probably double down and practice this on my own.
Yep. Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
But I know what right looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the advantages of taking a class, if you don't own the night vision, is that we do have a rental program as well as Greenline does.
Yep.
And they're dual tubes, and their articulating system or fixed bridge, or several different lasers to choose from. That's just like, basically, you don't have to go out and spend 10 grand before you want to come take a class. If you're interested in this and it's a future purchase for you, basically you just sign up, do on either Greenline or TNVC, and then you do a rental, and you specify what it is you're most likely wanting to look forward to purchasing. And I think we do a credit back.
We
don't
do the credit. We do the credit as well. So really, the difference between Try Before You Buy and Night Fighter 101 with regards to the rental aspect of it is Try Before You Buy is just kind of a demonstration and an education thing. If you rent at Night Fighter 101, you're taking the whole class, the 2-night class. So and the same thing if you rent at Armed Professional. So
And what do you guys charge for rental?
I think it depends on what you're renting, because you can rent everything from like a goggle to a complete package.
What would be max?
I think max is like $225, and that's for a full binocular rental.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a set of dual tubes.
Laser helmet
And
mount.
what
yeah.
do we have DTVSs in the fleet?
Yeah, DTMVSs, RMVGs, and PVS 14s, and all
White
those are in
Foss.
green and white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So it pays to sign up early if you need a rental. That way
Yeah.
you can single out what you want.
And they're first come, first serve.
They are, yeah.
And some classes, depending on location, have higher demand than others.
Right.
And we can't guarantee that you'll get a rental if you're coming in late or whatever. But actually, one of the trends that we've seen this year is a little bit lower demand for rentals, and it's because over
becoming
the
more
past 12
mainstream.
months, we've seen a lot of people buy their own gear, and now they're taking the next step, which is to get training on what they've purchased,
Right.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So-
Night vision is becoming more mainstream, as it should. Firearms are mainstream. I believe night vision should be mainstream. You can have whatever you want. If you're a U.S. citizen, call us up. I mean, we'll sell you 4 tubes now. I mean,
Yeah.
it just
1
kind
to
of is
4.
what it is. Yeah, 1 to
Exactly.
4. You
1
take
to
your
4,
pick.
yeah.
Hell, you can buy more than 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You can buy.
We'll sell you 5.
Yeah. Yeah. So just let us know what you are most interested in, and we'll square you away if you're looking to take a class and don't have the equipment yet. There's a question here about, for our work in the shoot houses for our classes. Obviously, people have read AARs and they know about this. Is a ballistic helmet or ballistic plates required? Bill, isn't it the rule at Alliance, Ohio, when we use
Well-
the facility?
Well, for our professional, which is the class where we go into the shoot house, it is not required because we're doing UTM and it's force on target. So we're not shooting at each other. We're using UTM inside the structure to engage targets just like you would for live fire. So no armor requirement. Your helmet, whether it's ballistic or a bump, you got to have it on anyways to wear your night vision goggles. So that meets that requirement for us. Now, Greenline, they have a live fire shoot house class like Sam was
Right.
talking about, and that would, I imagine, that's everything. I mean, that's
Yeah,
full PPE.
You're up armored for anything live fire, and then the UTM stuff is, the protective clothing and stuff like that. Long sleeves gloves, eye pro. Generally speaking, though, like for the force on force section of the shoot house class, so I get to be the role player. So if any of you out there want to try to shoot me in the ding ding,
I was going to say, shoot him in the ding ding.
you go ahead and try, because I'm going to probably shoot you back in the ding ding. So you better be playing all your cards right. But
They're going to have to be snipers.
they're going to have to. I'm Irish.
Get that LPVO and be like, crank, it won't go any further.
I can't use my PVO at night. Aha! The luck of the Irish. Anyway,
Push 2 left.
right.
Oh man.
No, but yeah, live fire. You're fully up armored. iPro, ballistic iPro,
Yeah.
and anything force on target. You know, iPro gloves, closed-toed shoes. Don't be showing up in your Crocs. We did have a dude do that one time, and I shamed him back into town.
Was it Kane Tierney?
Yeah, probably. Probably. Yeah. Anything live fire, you're going to be up armored head
Absolutely.
to toe. And
Yeah,
then
that's-
anything UTM, you know, there are protective measures put in place. Mostly you're going to be shooting at me. So the only one, serious risk of
Not
being hurt
live
is
fire
me.
shooting at you.
Right.
Less than lethal.
Well, you know, somebody's probably going to try to Chris Kyle me someday.
Well, they do the world a favor. I mean, for you.
Record that for court later. What do you mean he never saw it coming? We've got it on video.
Yeah. Yeah, for the folks that haven't purchased night vision and they're thinking about what they should buy, whether it's to come to training, eventually you should. If you're buying night vision, you should definitely come to training.
I would almost say come to training first or the try before you buy event.
Yeah.
Because spending a couple of $100 or maybe $1,000 for a training class, ultimately, in the long run, was probably going to save you several $1,000s
Yeah.
by buying the gear that is appropriate for your context and needs, and not buying thousands of dollars of fluff.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that we say in the military is time spent reconnaissance is time well spent.
Right.
And the same thing could be said for money is, money spent, learning about it before you make, especially a huge purchase like that is money well spent. And, and
Eric, stop touching me with your feet.
that's the intent
Not
of
yet,
the,
later.
that's the intent of the try before you buy. But we've had several students in our night fighter classes that show up to try it and to learn and make an informed decision and then turn around and buy after the class.
Well,
Right.
and the other thing is if you come to a Green Line class, Don hands out a pretty stiff discount code that will say it'll basically pay for the class if you buy dual tubes.
Yeah.
You will save several $100s.
There may or may not be something like that with our class. I can neither confirm nor deny what's on the back of your name tag at our class, but there is some incentive to purchase after the class if that's what you're thinking about.
And for all the folks that are out there wondering why is night vision so expensive, it's because the tubes are a very intricate process to make. And so it's analog technology, so it takes a lot of labor, a lot of man hours to manufacture those tubes. So the cost is essentially the tube, what makes you see in the dark, right? And if you see something that's like too good to be true, it is. Good night vision, you're going to pay at least $2,000 and up for, and that's on the used market. And when you buy night vision used, unless you can see a data sheet and you know the person, you just don't know what you're getting. You don't know how many hours. You don't know what kind of tube is inside of that thing. So there's a lot of ifs, but it's expensive because it's a superpower. It's a tool, and it's an invaluable tool. How much are you willing to pay to see in the dark is what you should ask yourself.
Well, and they've gone down in price and they've gone up in quality at the same time.
Exactly.
And we're seeing these XLS tubes, now PVS 14 is what, 2450?
Well,
I mean, and they're putting out some pretty good specs.
I
with
mean,
those.
even the
to an
Gen 2
extent,
Plus
yes,
stuff.
but I've seen a lot of vendors I've seen quality in the industry from a lot of vendors actually tank just
Right.
because of what's going on.
Well,
Yeah. Well, then
demand is up, so people are
desperate.
desperate to buy. They want just something, anything. Just be careful out there. Make an informed decision. At the very least, just give us a call. We always, we can make recommendations or give you advice. Of course, we don't we don't know your particular situation, but if you call us and ask us about a certain system, we can certainly maybe give you some kind of,
If you pay us more, we'll bump you to the head of the line. Just ask for head of the line privileges, and we'll give you a PayPal account to transfer your stuff into. I'm getting the no from
Are we not
camera
doing that
lady.
anymore?
We're not doing that
We're not
anymore.
gonna do that? Oh, yeah.
Starting next week,
Yeah.
end of next week, we're no longer doing that.
Yeah, so cheap night vision,
Isn't
it's
good.
like a bad tattoo. Your friends are gonna make fun of you, and you're gonna regret it.
Oh yeah.
And there's gonna be hardly any way to get rid of it because no one else wants to buy cheap night vision. The Gen 2 Plus stuff that's out there, like Photonus, even that's pretty good. You could take classes with it and stuff like that. You can see in the dark with it. It's just not. You got to be careful. It's just not Gen 3.
If you're getting into Gen 2 stuff, i.e. Photonus or Harder Digital or the Russian KTOD stuff, it can be a good buy if you get it at a fair price point. With that said, I see a lot of vendors absolutely charging people out the wazoo for that stuff. I have talked to no less than half a dozen people in the last 3 weeks who paid, high performance Gen 3 prices for Gen 2.
Gen
and they,
2 tubes.
And they were absolutely screwed out of, anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000.
Right. And that's just something that's, a lot of folks do their research, but some folks, kind of do it half-assed. And
Yep.
if you're not careful, you can be just dangerous enough to get yourself into like a bit of a bind with buying a system that you maybe can't return. And if you try to sell it, like again, nobody's going to want to buy it for what you paid for it.
Yeah, you're going to take a major
You're going to
loss.
take a loss.
And additionally, like Psionics is
Sonics
nothing-
is not a night vision.
It's not a night vision
Right. It's
goggle.
it's a camera.
It's a camera,
And
and
that's what it's marketed as. It's marketed as a
Yeah.
sports camera, but for some reason, folks have got this idea in their head that it's a night vision device.
it's the beginning of the future. I
Sure.
think we'd all agree with that. But
Yeah.
but it's
Someday.
not. But it's not appropriate for our
Yeah,
classes.
you're not. It'd be like wearing a one of those little Sony handy cams on a mount on your face.
Right. Yeah,
it's basically the same thing.
And I don't want to delve too deep into the technology and the gear. I want to keep this focused on training. But, if you guys are looking for a resource for information, man, my YouTube channel, I made those YouTube videos so people don't get screwed out of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Go
My
watch
Instagram-
those
My
videos.
Instagram page, American Renegade,
Yeah.
is a wealth of knowledge.
Hopefully you like feet pics.
Yeah. Anybody else want a shameless plug? Bill?
So no, I'm good, man.
Okay.
I like my 32 followers.
No, seriously, go check out Silent Solutions on YouTube.
Yeah, it's great videos about.
It's low budget, but it's great.
I don't care
A lot of
about
information
production value. I'm
Well,
just
apparently,
trying
we're
to.
looking at you, and you definitely don't. So
Oh,
you couldn't
really?
even produce something decent to fucking wear today. So
You got holes in your shirt. Your belly is freaking flopped over
listen,
your
bro,
belt.
that's so. It's nice and cool.
Now, do you have
It's
moths?
my church shirt, bro.
Do you have moth problems, or you just conceal carry a lot?
It's
Moths. It's moths.
definitely.
It's
I
always
conceal
moths.
carry moths.
I bet you do. It's like a UNICEF commercial walking up on you.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's what your mom said.
Oh, good one, Eric. Wow. Stop the camera. Eric made a your mom joke.
Oh, look, someone followed me already. That was a real plug. Thank you, guys.
Guy.
I've got three. I've got
So his followers
I've got
just
3
went up.
followers now. Thank you so much. So, if you're IFF devices, do you need them for training?
No.
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 Don't be that guy that
Please
starts strobing on the line. It's like, Carl, shut that shit off.
Right. Please don't. The only time anyone should have an IFF device on is one of us, one of the instructors, and it's if there's something going on, which you will know, and that's gonna be hardly ever. However,
Well,
that being said-
how do you see them in the dark? Use your night vision.
right.
You got night vision goggles on.
Yeah. However, that being said, one piece of equipment that we are going to require you to have on you, on our ranges is at least a tourniquet.
Yeah.
If you go to the range,
A real tourniquet.
yeah, a real one, like a Cat 4 or a, what is that, soft
Soft
T,
TY,
Soft T.
Cat Gen 7.
Cat Gen 7. Again,
A real tourniquet.
A real tourniquet.
A TCCC approved tourniquet.
Right. If you go to the range and you don't at least have a real tourniquet on you, you are wrong. You are dead wrong.
You might be dead wrong.
You may be dead and also wrong. It's not cool to shoot yourself. I don't know. Maybe it is.
Well, if you shoot yourself, it counts as getting shot and shooting somebody.
Yeah. So,
So-
whenever you show someone the scar, they're like, "What happened to you?" It's like somebody shot me.
Gunfight.
Well, what'd you do? It's like I shot him.
Blasted him.
Somebody tries to shoot me, I shoot him right back.
Silver lining right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but you will not get a Purple Heart for that. I promise you.
You probably get an Instagram hashtag.
You'll probably get kicked out of a unit
Yeah.
when you put a hole in your foot.
Or asked to leave Alliance PD range for good.
But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the IFF devices, there was a time and place for them.
Yeah.
But definitely, like,
And
like
If you're out in the
any-
woods hunting by yourself
Yeah.
at night, yes,
Yeah,
get you
yeah.
one in the visible spectrum, because if you hurt yourself or God forbid you're lost.
you pull a hammy.
Yep.
but for our classes, if we need to mark you for whatever reason,
We'll do
Chip
it.
will mark you.
yeah, we'll take
He'll
care
put
of it.
He'll come mark you.
Yeah,
He'll
He'll
take,
put the.
he'll take the
the-
blood from a lamb,
Yep.
yeah.
wipe it across your forehead.
But yeah, otherwise we'll take responsibility for making sure if we have an issue
Or
we
credit
need-
for the kill.
yeah, that we know where you guys are. So but another thing that we see, a trend that we see in our classes too, I don't know if you see it a lot, is kind of a wasted opportunity. Like we talk about when you draw your handgun, present it, right?
Yeah,
But
perfect.
same thing with night vision goggles, right? When you come outside and you're walking and it's dark and everything else, put that goggle down and wear it and use it. And,
Yeah,
and,
don't
and
be
it's-
sugar-footed about it.
and like we'll be sitting there talking to the students, and half will have their goggles up, the other half will have them down, and everything else. It's like, hey, look, wear that goggle,
Yeah.
and it's free repetition, and again, it's an opportunity to just get 5 more minutes with that goggle that you didn't have before. So don't waste those moments, and we're getting we get pretty we pay attention to that, and we'll remind you to do it. But it's another opportunity, another repetition, another 50 meters walking under MVGs. And occasionally we'll see people stumble or trip on something as they're walking out, and they have their goggles up on their head, and as they're walking out to the range, it's like,
Did we
man,
make fun of you?
too bad you didn't have something that you could have seen in the dark.
How do you stumble on a flat range? Nice.
Yeah, it does happen. So
Yeah, then we make fun of you, and then we ask if you're okay.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, in our courses, there's a lot of how come they're sold out? How many people are in a class? That's a great question. How many is it?
So we cap our classes at 16, and usually we'll add 2 more on top of that, 18. Our primary concern is keeping a good student to instructor ratio for safety. And so if we have a large class like that, we're going to run 2 relays. So that leaves, with 3 instructors, we can put 2 on the line that's firing, and then 1 with the relay that's not shooting. So, and the truth of the matter is, you guys are spending a lot of money to come to a class, and if there's too many students, then we can't give the right amount of attention to our student base, and it just is not right. And in the end, the range is only so big, and if we had 3 or 4 relays and we had 5 or 6 instructors out there and everything else, at 2 o'clock in the morning, guys get bored and they're going to get tired and they get frustrated. So it's a time management thing. It's a safety thing.
It's also so people don't wander around.
Yeah, and we want to make sure you get your money's worth out of it. So yeah, it sucks that we keep it at the 16 to 18 student number, but we do it so that you get your money's worth out of the class.
What about you guys, Sam?
So the answer is it depends. If it depends on where we're going and the student base. We have done one. I will not exceed the 10-to-1 student instructor ratio. So that is the max that we will do. And if we have, let's just say, we have three instructors, Don, myself, and you. No more than 30 students tops,
Right.
and we'll run 2 firing orders to keep the the safety and everything going. But
While
and
folks
that's
are on the line, the ones that are off the relay, they're jamming mags
Yeah.
and getting ready for the next relay.
and that is only at ranges where we have repeat customers who have taken the class before, and so they know what to expect, and we know they're safe, and they're vetted.
And also ranges that have the space. We're not
Space.
going to pack you in there
Space.
to where you're shoulder to shoulder with somebody feeling like, I'm not comfortable with this. Because, things happen at night.
But I would say generally our classes are about 20 people.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the student to instructor ratio is a very important thing to maintain. Like, everybody has their own limits. One of the things we would hate is for someone to not know how to do something simple like focus their rental goggle and then not feel like they were able to speak up or say something about it. We would feel that was just we could have avoided it, which is why we don't max out our capabilities.
Yeah. That and safety.
And safety, yeah, of course, always safety. Here's a good one. Are Photonus 4G Echo classified as Gen 2?
Yes,
Absolutely.
they are Gen 2 multi-alkali photocathodes.
Yep. And what
Yes.
separates Gen 2 from Gen 3?
That's
Gallium
kind of
arsenide.
Man, that's a long. Let's not
Outside
even
the
talk.
training.
That's
What's a
outside the
basic
training.
layman
Yeah.
term?
Go watch my video.
Yeah, there you
Go
go.
watch my
Yeah.
video.
Gallium arsenide versus
Multi-alkali.
multi-alkali.
But there's
That's
even
a lot of,
It's more to
Other
it.
stuff,
It's
but
involved.
yeah.
But yeah, they're Gen 2 tubes. Can you come to a class with those? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
yeah, absolutely.
We're not going to shy anybody away. As long as you have a serviceable Gen 2 plus tube or Gen 3 system, come on.
And what we're going to do, and Green Line's the same way, is we're going to show you how to get the most out of what you have.
Right.
And you in that situation, you may need to use an illuminator a little bit more. Your ability to see at greater distances compared to your buddies with Gen 3 stuff is going to be constrained. But ultimately, in the end, I mean, one of the questions I get a lot too is, can I come to a class because I only have a PVS 14?
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, a PVS 14 is not a.
We don't hate 14.
It is, and in fact, I teach.
We hate their owners, but we don't
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
them.
So
hate you.
Sam hates me,
Yes.
because
Yeah,
I teach
No,
primarily with.
I
hate
own a
too.
14. I will always own a
Same.
PVS 14.
And so don't feel that just because you only have a PVS 14 that you can't come to a class. I mean, we've had classes where we've had, I think, one person with a PVS 14 and the rest of the class with binos, and then we've had classes where over half the
Everybody's
class
had
is
a-
14.
yeah.
And so
And I-
it's a great goggle. It works great. You're not under equipped. Come, we'll show you how to get the most out of it.
Yeah, and I have seen, to that effect, I have seen guys with 14s absolutely crush dudes with dual tubes because they train in them. They're
Yeah.
habitually familiar
The whole
with
singer-song analogy.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, they are running around, and it's like watching a dude pistol whip a blind kid. They're awesome with a 14 because they train with it.
14 you're totally capable of coming to class with a PVS 14. In fact, it's a great reason to come to class, and
Yeah.
you're not under equipped with that.
You might even save yourself thousands of dollars by not investing in a dual tube because you learned how to milk a little bit more capability out of your 14.
Right. And if you're a person that's on a budget, which we understand, I mean, hell, each one of us here, everyone should be on a budget, right? And you're like, hey, I could get that Night Goggles XLS.
Hey, I could not shower and
PVS
bathe
14.
for a year and get dual tubes.
That's true.
And
Or I
probably
could
keep
buy
your-
that Night Goggles XLS single tube system, and absolutely it's worth it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, those systems
For that,
are great.
is a phenomenal tube.
It's a great way to
You know
get
what
into it.
The
and
worst part about the XLS systems is the fact that we basically do a drop, and when they sell out, they sell out
we're
for
done
months.
it, yeah.
Right.
So,
Which,
so,
you know, we're, again, that's on the night goggles side of the house, so that would have to be, those questions would have to be kind of directed more towards night goggles. But,
That
yeah.
piece of shit, Tom.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're back. They're gonna come in stock again and continually do it. But yes, the XLS tubes are absolutely phenomenal.
and
they're incredible
and a
value.
great tube to bring to class. I mean,
Yeah.
they'd work whether it's a binocular. I mean,
Yeah.
XLS,
I
you're
have
not
to.
under equipped at all.
Yeah, I
I've
have
built a few hundred XLS systems at this point, and I would say 80% of them, I'm looking at them and looking at the spec sheets, and I'm like, why isn't this a mil-spec tube? Because they're awesome tubes.
They're great.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to buy them. They're what I consider a working man's system, a working man's tube. Just something you need and it just works, and you don't care. You just want to see in the dark, and you want a phenomenal deal. Get them. Yeah,
Yep.
all day, every
All
day.
day.
Bridged 14s, since we're on that topic for training, yes, they're fine.
No,
They're absolutely fine.
No.
We're going to show you the limitations, and of course, you probably already know that. But we're going to show you the limitations, but also the capabilities there.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with a bridged 14. There's plenty of folks doing it out there.
Yep.
Let's see, fixed bridge or articulating what would work better for classes.
Either.
It's it's
Either.
literally your
preference
personal preference
and your budget.
and your budget.
And
I would say for Night Fighter, either or. You
Either
start
or.
getting into the more boutique-y specialty classes, the articulating systems really come into their own when you're working in and around vehicles and low-hanging roofs and, transitioning to thermals and clip-on night vision devices and stuff like that. But doesn't mean you can't do it with a fixed
I mean,
bridge.
in our classes, either one would be completely capable and adequate.
Yep. Yeah, we have them in our rental fleet. If
Yep.
you want to try them before you buy them.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
They're a great system, both of them.
Too easy. Yeah. Any paired tactics drills, working with teammates, in either course.
In both of our classes, yeah.
Yeah.
In both of our classes, in Armed Professional, it pretty much starts that way and gets bigger.
Yep.
But in Night Fighter 101, we'll culminate with some buddy teamwork. Yeah, which is actually what the students. It's like one of their favorite parts of the class is the last part of Night Fighter 101 when we're out there doing some of that work. So yeah, and we'll show a couple different ways to do things, and it's a whole lot of fun. It's probably my favorite part of teaching Night Fighter 101 is the last couple things we do at night on night number 2.
Yeah. Yeah. We do. Working around other folks that have night vision is good. It's spatial awareness. It keeps you more honest. So yeah, we do that stuff.
Yep. Definitely, and the students love it. It's one of the highlights for them as well. And literally, if you were to stop at the end of Night Fighter 101, Armed Professional picks up right where it leaves off. So it's kind of fun for back-to-back students too. We had a bunch of them last year. I know we have some returning 101 students this year already in our Armed Professional classes. And literally, they'll pick up right where we left off on Night Fighter 101, which is a lot of fun. So,
Let's see. Any other things you guys want to talk about as far as training goes?
ammo. Let's talk about ammo.
Ammo,
So our round count is 500 rifle, about 200 handgun. That's the high end. I mean, if we have a really really switched on class, we'll shoot that much. We generally don't shoot that much. And I think Green Line's the same way. We don't do a lot of ballistic masturbation. We're not going to have you shoot just to shoot. But one of the big comments from our students last year was that they wish they had shot more. So generally what we'll do is we'll gauge how the students are progressing. We'll gauge what we're hoping to accomplish for the class, and then we'll ask the students what they want to do. And if they want to shoot more, then we're going to go out and shoot more. We know ammo's tight. We don't have the ability to provide ammo or sell ammo at classes. So you got to bring what you got, but we're not going to waste your ammo either. You know, we want you to get the most out of it. We're going to probably, you know, reduce our entry argument for ammo for this year, but that doesn't mean that we won't shoot that much. It'll just, our entry requirement as we get ready to teach the class will be lower, and as the class progresses, we'll adjust that count and how much we're shooting based upon what the students want to do. What are you guys thinking?
So you're gonna get your guns hot at a green line class. I mean, every round has a purpose and a job, and we're not doing ballistic masturbation or anything like that. But you're gonna shoot about 800 rifle, and probably about 300, maybe 350 pistol. With that said, with ammo being kind of scarce, you don't have to show up and shoot that much. You can get away with probably about half of that if you were very judicious.
500 rounds.
You could probably do 450, 400 to 450 rifle and about 150 pistol. You probably would have to really throttle back, but you know, we're heavy on the information, and we're gonna shoot. We're gonna blast for several hours.
And that's like I said, our biggest like comment out of the student base is they wanted to shoot more, and it's because a lot of places they can't shoot at night. They can't shoot it with their NVGs at night, or they're using rental gear or whatever, and that's what they want to do. So we're going to gauge it off what the students want, how they're feeling, and because we want it's to a degree it's your class, and we want them to come out of it with you know going to there. Additionally, one advantage that we have that we enjoy teaching night vision classes and night fighting classes is that generally if our student base has spent thousands of dollars on equipment, they're not afraid, or they've already allocated that ammunition to you know to conduct the training.
Right.
So they're not as concerned as like going to like a carbine operators class or something where they know they're going to shoot 1,000 or 1,200 rounds.
Right.
You know, I think our that kind of audience allows for less stress about ammunition concerns than a typical carbine class or even like a red dot handgun class or something where you know you're going to be shooting a lot.
Rep it out.
It's our armed professional class. A lot of it is UTM. So if you take an armed professional class.
Yeah, 1 night of live fire, 2 nights of UTM. You buy the UTM at the class. It's somewhat expensive. 2020,
less than
2020, 2020. It seemed really expensive. 2021, UTM's a pretty good deal.
I just bought 2,000 rounds
so,
of UTM.
Yeah,
UTM is cheaper than live ammo currently.
So
if you can get your hands on it.
But UTM won't really
and
work.
you know what? I at Greenline classes, if you wanted to shoot UTM on the line for the vast majority of the class because you have it and it's what you can get, I'll let somebody shoot UTM because you're working inside of 25 meters the first night and a half, and we don't really back up until you know, in the evening on the second night. So
yeah, and we're exploring an ammo alternative as well.
like 22 or something.
Yeah, and we got to do some research on it to determine feasibility. But we may have
had a couple people shoot 22.
Yeah, we might have an option at the end of the you know towards summertime. We'll know more about that later.
Yep.
So.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned with us. Grab another drink. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're good to go. Hey, while we're gone,
I beat the shit out of Sam. That's
yeah,
what I
he quit. So, one of the questions we got in was about should they show up to class with a zeroed laser, which is a great question. Yes and no. It's up to you. We will do we will help you guys zero your lasers or confirm zero on your lasers. We generally, at our classes, will do a converging zero at the distance that you've zeroed your optic. And we'll show you how to do it, and we'll run it that way. So if you're zeroed, great. If not, we'll help you out at the range.
I'm going to make fun of you if you're not, because if you have a night-capable rifle and your laser isn't zeroed,
It's not.
it's not a night-capable rifle. And it might just kick you right in the baloney bag. What about green line? Should they show up with a zeroed laser?
If they're renting, no.
Well, how would they show up with a laser they don't own?
Maybe they're just that good. No, we do zero our lasers. That's part of the class.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it speeds up the process if it's zeroed. I would recommend it show up zeroed, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, for sure. And it doesn't take long once you really get rolling on it. And
Unless you have a Steiner.
yeah. Or you're trying to do parallel.
Yeah.
And that'll take forever. So
Yeah, no parallel zero.
Yeah.
We don't recommend it for classes, or really in general, other than one specific niche, and I won't really get into that. But
converging is super easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to confirm. It's easy to do if you only have one laser and you're swapping it from gun to gun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason
we've
why.
been doing it for years and years, and it works just fine. You can stitch somebody up just fine with a converging zero.
Yeah. So it's a great. That's a good question. And
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Great question. Do though, however, show up to the range with all your stuff on your rifle if you currently own it. Definitely do that.
yeah.
Don't be the person in the class that's building their rifle as folks are teaching. For one, we're not cool with that. We're not going to let you build or mess around with your rifle in the classroom, or pistol for that matter. But two, just set your stuff up. It is what it is. We'll issue stuff out if you're renting, and there'll be a time and place where we'll help you install that laser or whatnot, or even that helmet and those nods. But yeah, again, I'm going back to what I talked about earlier. Don't drastically change your setup just because you're coming to a night vision class.
Guys, on that note, I'll bring up two comments I usually bring up in training is, number one, be on time, guys, to class.
Be early, but not too early.
Not too early. And by what I mean on time is, if we're asking for you to be there at 4 o'clock, get there sometime between, at 3:30 and a quarter till, which is enough time to sit down,
Admin.
get your stuff squared away, bring in whatever gear you're bringing in or whatever, and so that at 4 o'clock we can start the instruction. The second thing is our students spend a lot of money to come to class.
Oh yeah.
And they don't take notes. And that's money, that's your money out there, and so we're lucky. Right in the Rain, it provides notebooks for all our students. They're tiny, but still you can write down.
They offer bigger ones too.
They do, but they provide
The
pocket-sized ones. But take notes, guys. I have a training notebook that I have that I do that any class I go to, whether I'm a student or instructor, I use, and I can go back in there and refer to notes, that are 3, 4, 5 years old, and because there's going to be a lot of information that you pick up, and if you're not taking notes and writing that stuff down, that's just an opportunity missed. So,
And, for the green line classes, if you don't take notes, you're not going to get your money's worth. The lecture portion is, I've had more people say the lecture portion alone was worth the price of admission.
yeah,
So,
and we don't provide the slides, from
Yeah.
our classes, so if you see information on there, it's up to you to write it down. So.
Right.
And the time thing ends up just being, in addition for you being ready, it's also a respect thing to the other students and to the instructors and the staff that are there to make sure.
I
you're
generally,
good to go.
if we say class starts at 2:00, you know, if you're not in your seat ready to go at 2:00, I'm starting without you. Sorry.
Yeah,
You were told,
but and then with regards to class administration for our classes, once you register and pay, there may be a note or two that I send out regarding lodging, if there's any range specific lodging opportunities or concerns, or if there's something unique that's going to occur at that range during that time frame. And then usually about a week ahead of the class, I'll send out my final class instruction email with the address of the range, where to be, any sort of considerations regarding meals, or if you need to prepare in advance. And then with the TNVC classes, usually on day 2 of Night Fighter 101, and then day 2 and day 3 of Armed Professional, we'll do a student lunch before classes. And it's not mandatory fun. It's an opportunity to just link up before we go to the range. We usually pick a local restaurant in the town we're in to support local business. And just an opportunity to get together for about an hour before the class, BS, ask questions, whatever, get a good meal before we head out. So we try to incorporate a little bit of social stuff into the class, but at the same time, it's not mandatory. We usually have a lot of fun with that stuff, and the students get a kick out of it. But that's what to expect as the class is getting closer. So if you haven't gotten anything a week out, ping the instructors and say, hey, what's going on? And I haven't heard anything. It may have gone to your junk folder, whatever. But we'll send it out far enough in advance for you to plan. Regarding, like, if you're coming in from out of town and you're concerned about lodging or transportation or whatever else, for TNVC we have a frequently asked questions page on the website. Just look at that, because that'll give you approximate start time and finish time if you need to arrange flights in and out of town. And if you have questions about lodging or whatever, you can send it to training, or if you're already talking to me, just send me a note and I'll give you some ideas of where to go. So. Cool. Any questions or nothing that's come in?
No. One is, does your red dot optic have to have a night vision setting? We recommend it.
Preferably.
I'd almost say yes, it does. Or it needs to be
dimmed down
manually adjustable to the point where you can tone it down and it
barely see it with your eye, and then it's still going to be plenty bright.
Still be plenty
on
bright.
your nods, but we recommend it. Is it going to be like a disqualifying thing?
No.
No.
Just turn it down all the way to the lowest.
You'll wish you
brightness
had
setting.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll wish
And
you had one.
we'll show you how to make the most of your gear if you have one that doesn't have a red dot setting. Bring batteries, guys. They die. And fresh batteries inside your lights, fresh batteries inside your lasers make a big difference. And especially in some of our classes, bring plenty of batteries, because
Especially if you're running Neotech.
yeah, because we're also gonna be running those white lights hard. And we can, remember that lumen rating is for the first, 15 seconds you have the light on, and then it starts dropping immediately. So
Yeah, bring extra batteries. We're going to give you a lot of stuff at class, but we're not going to give you batteries. If we did, we'd just be handing out batteries all night. And batteries are
are provided at the Green Line class for rental gear.
yeah.
Really, yeah.
Well, yeah, we're going to give you a battery for your rental gear.
For your
but
rental gear,
Bring
yeah.
extra batteries.
Yep. So,
We're all adults here.
Speak
then-
for yourself, Eric.
and then the other thing too is, eating and drinking, not alcohol, but eating and drinking while you're at the classes is really important. Especially, we'll generally take a meal break around 10 to put that energy back into your body as we head back out to the range. But the hydration, the food is going to allow you to get even more out of the class. And in our class, it rains. I think every class we're in. It won't rain a vortex, but never know.
It'll snow.
But
it's going to snow on us up there.
but
Not inside.
even in Montana, like, it hadn't rained in 5 3 months, and we got wet up in Montana. So
Yeah. Yeah, just some
you
kind
know,
of event jacket, Gore-Tex.
yeah, we'll just plan accordingly, and we'll put out some stuff about weather data to help you guys better prepare.
If you're blind in one eye, no, you don't need binos. Just get a 14. Things happen, no judging, but there's no need to buy duals unless you just want to look cool or cooler.
Yeah.
But if you are blind in one eye, just use your good eye.
You should buy half a pano so you have a 40 something.
Well, if you buy a set of panos, technically you can use half of those panos. A lot of folks don't know that, but you can use just one side of those panos.
Yep.
Pretty cool feature. So force on force for TNVC, no. If you want force on force under nods, green line is the ticket. You get to shoot Sam, which there's probably no better feeling in the world other than maybe your mom, but it's like here and here, you know what I mean? Comes and goes.
Hey guys, let me just go ahead and put this back up. Oh, this is a good time to re-announce the classes. Green Line Tactical NVG Shoot House, February 20th, 21st at the Savannah, Georgia Blue Force Gear Joint Training Facility. Sign up now. Green Line Tactical Night Fighter, February 26th and 27th in Immokalee, Florida.
Sign up now.
Shut up, Eric. What
Where
Eric
do you
said.
sign up?
What
I
Eric
don't
said.
even know how to find you.
Green Line Tactical. You can Google it or go to greenlinetactical.com. Green Line Tactical NVG SPR DMR class, March 27th, 28th, Immokalee, Florida. Green Line Tactical Live Fire NVG Shoot House, Alliance, Ohio, April 16th and 17th. TNVC Armed Professional, June 18th, 20th, Alliance, Ohio. TNVC Night Fighter 101, July 17th and 18th, Alliance, Ohio. TNVC Night Fighter 101, September 17th and 18th, Alliance, Ohio. TNVC Arm Pro, October 1st and 3rd, you guessed it, Alliance, Ohio.
We are going to many other places other than Alliance, Ohio, but those are selling out.
Mostly Alliance, Ohio.
I'm surprised you can read with a face like that.
Hooked on phonics, bro.
Look at you. You're like a chromosome over normal. And you're talking to me about being able to read.
Impressive, honestly. I'm so proud of you.
The
strides you've made.
No,
I'm so proud of you.
I'm surprised there's not an APB out on you.
Yeah. Our maximum distance that we shoot is like 200, 300 meters on steel targets, right?
It's not even that far, I don't think.
It's like 150, 200 when we're doing that one deal.
Yeah, again,
we're going to take you to PID, max PID range, and that's about it.
But remember, though, too, one of the big challenges is the environmental conditions. We've had man-sized steel at 60 meters, and you can't see it under MVGs.
Unless you have them all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you can.
But we were really struggling in one class with the temperature and the temperature.
That's what PID smells like.
The
smells like butthole.
Illumination,
yeah, but
everything.
It's mine, so it's okay.
Do you have COVID? Could you smell?
I don't think you can't give yourself COVID for your own.
Well, that's how you test yourself for COVID. You put your finger in your butt and then you smell it. And if you can smell it, then you don't have COVID because you still have your smell.
Yep.
Yeah. It's science.
It is science.
With the science.
Yep.
Okay, Dr. Fauci.
Dr. Fauci said that it was legit.
Yeah. By the way, Gabe said he hates you.
Gabe who?
Yeah.
Which Gabe?
I know.
There's like 7 of them that hate him.
Never heard of him.
All of them.
Get in
All
line.
the Gabes hate Sam.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, right.
I guess now would be a good time to talk about all the companies that support the night vision classes.
Ooh, okay. So, OpsCore,
Yeah.
Blue Force Gear,
Focus Research
Focus
Group.
Research, Ride in the Rain, Audi Gear,
TNVC.
TNVC
TNVC,
does, Geisley,
Geisley.
ALG, BCM. Our swag piles are getting consistently bigger.
What's that
every
company
class.
that never has stuff in stock? that makes
Oh,
really
Unity.
cool gear. Yep, that one.
Unity does.
Tactical,
Yeah,
yeah.
they'll send some stuff our way.
Yep,
Oh.
Unity Tactical.
Yeah, so you come to a class. We try to have you leave with a bunch of stuff from companies that have a relevant and logical connection to what we're doing, and we're very very grateful for what they're doing because that just adds to the value of our class, and we're excited. And several of those companies are offering discount coupon codes this year, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's pretty
What
cool.
about you guys?
Obviously, TNVC is a big supporter of Greenline.
Roscoe,
Roscoe Barrels, Battle Arms Development,
Blue Force Gear.
Blue Force Gear. We've got Bore Sight Solutions. If you send a course certificate to Ben within 90 days of the class, he will hook you up with a Duty Series package for a discounted price.
Yeah, you give him money, he'll give you a product. That's the way that works.
That's a great business
Yeah.
relationship right there, man.
But it's less money than you
Accutac.
normally would. Accutac, Unity, there's Unity.
Unity.
Oh, what else?
There's so many.
There's so freaking many.
Battle Arms Development.
I said them, but you don't really listen to when I talk. You
It's
just
worth
wait for
mentioning again.
Yeah.
Wait for your turn to talk.
That's true.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is
You
we're
talk like a deaf person.
what the
That's my line.
throw him back at him, man, like
And-
right in his face.
You look more like Tom than I do.
That's a compliment.
Is it?
Did you see that picture of all of us with the Tom beards? I mean,
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yep. He
You
grew it
look like
himself.
you look more like Augie than I do.
Fuck you.
And that's a wrap.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool
Yeah.
what you walk away with, and
Lots of discount codes, lots of free stuff.
You'll-
I think honestly-
you'll pay for the class if you
Yeah,
if you buy gear. You will
Yeah.
easily pay for the class.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it harkens back to Pat Rogers. I mean, you would walk
Yeah.
away with, hundreds of dollars worth of stuff from a EAG class.
Yep, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the model we're trying to emulate,
And I know like E-Codes are the new hotness, or they've been the rage for several months now. But
They're awesome.
They're great. If you have one, bring it to class. We'll show you how
Yep.
to maximize the potential and the limitations of that. And I believe we even have one that we bring to classes.
Yep, there'll be one that we'll have. We'll have one at
Yeah.
Try Before You Buy,
Yeah.
and then
You
we'll
guys
have it
have
as
one?
part of our rental program.
Yep.
If you
Or
if
not
you're
rental, but-
if you're a certified diver, I can tell you
We can
there
tell you-
might be one as well.
It's in the ocean by now, I think.
Well, it could be.
If you're
There's
dedicated
always
enough.
a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
You
always
got
a
a side
chance.
scanning sonar.
Yeah.
You might be able to.
There's one in the Savannah River. We don't know how it got there, but it's
Yeah,
there.
we don't know. It just happened. and,
Well, I'll tell you how it happened. A freaking ranger tried to kill me.
He should have sealed the deal, man.
Yeah, well, my will to survive was stronger than him.
We would have had a funeral for the E-Cody.
Probably.
You.
I like how you're all like laughing.
E-Cody.
You would
he's my
cry.
best friend.
You would cry so bad.
Yeah. Those are tears of joy.
Whatever. They'd make memes about you.
Yeah. We'd have a funeral for the E-Cody. He's my best friend.
Sam, we did get asked that question at V-Shot. Is it possible to go overboard with your MVG purchases?
Yes.
Yeah, get on a boat with Chris Seidler.
If you are on,
Remember that question?
Oh,
That was
good,
a great question. Is it possible to go overboard with your night vision purchases? Yes, it is.
yes, it is.
Yep.
Sam showed us that it was possible.
Yep. And then Bill freaked out like a mother hen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bill, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Uh-huh. That's because I was the only one who cared.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Why?
you idiot. Next question.
There's really none.
Yeah.
Folks aren't really pushing any questions anymore.
Do we have any questions out there?
Guys, we're gonna take this to 11. So now's the time to ask your training related questions. Nothing weird. You can DM those to Sam later,
yeah.
but nothing weird to us right now. I'm not gonna
Promptly forward them to.
talk about
Vic.
B-holes. Let's see. Maybe I missed something here.
Yeah, well, what's this going on here?
Yeah, dedicated illuminators versus having an illuminator incorporated in your laser. Don't cluster up your rifle. It's 2021. The technology is there. Buy a laser with a good illuminator, a good infrared laser, and a good visible laser, all in one package, and be done with it. The problem with putting more shit on your rifle is you're gonna have to do more things to, do what you need to do, if that even makes any sense. But
Your ability to problem solve through various situations is vastly improved, both capability wise and time wise, when you have what I call a frontline laser that incorporates all three of those things into one unit.
Yeah, it simplifies it. I mean, otherwise you start looking at way too confusing, especially at night under pressure.
Right, you're doing the
know,
contra, up,
you're-
up,
you're-
down, down, A,
Yeah.
B, A, B, select, start,
So-
activate your laser and light, yeah.
And I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen anybody with just a single illuminator.
no,
In
it's
our
just
classes,
mostly
so-
because it's a silly idea, unless you just absolutely have to.
Yeah, I mean, if it's what you have, and that's all you have, bring it. We'll show you how to get the most out of it, and then at the end of the class, you can make an informed decision about, what if you're going to stick with that or if you want to upgrade.
You'll want to upgrade.
Yeah, you'll want to upgrade.
Yeah.
But
Like if you look at Bill's rifle and my rifle and Eric's rifle, they're set up, for a reason a certain way, and we're all pretty close. There's not a whole lot of variation. Eric runs a less capable laser because he's less fortunate, but
Yeah,
fuck him.
I haven't bought more money yet. Yeah,
I haven't bought more money.
yeah.
So.
All right, we got 5 minutes, guys. Let's get your questions
Well, we
in if
can-
you haven't already.
I think in closing though, it's going to be good. Last year was a good year of training. I think this year it's going to be better. I mean,
No, I mean, either it's going to be good or we're all going to be felons. So
but
I'll still be training people if they change the law.
But I mean, right now we start our first class in 2 weeks, and we really don't stop till May. And then the summer slows down just a little bit, and then at the end of August we kick it back up and go all the way through November. So
it's going to be hot. in summer,
it's going to be a great year. We're excited about the new locations we're going to. Obviously, our students are, because all those classes have sold out. It's just going to be a fun year, a full year of training, which we're grateful for, and can't wait to get out there and get going. So
Yep.
it'll be
Augie
good.
Jr. Start calling you Augie Jr. And the closer we get to being at midnight, he just keeps going on and on. Did you notice that?
I
Just fucking what you did. How much does dry fire under nods at home help with competence in the course? A fair decent amount. I would say it's more important to be proficient with manipulation. So
it's not going to help you shoot better,
Yeah.
but it will help you,
Well-
your manual of arms stuff.
And picking up being able to pick up the dot for passive stuff and your red dot on your handgun, I could see some merit in that.
yeah, ready ups will get you
Yeah.
squared away on how to pick up the dot through the nods for passive. And yeah, I mean, less dry fire, more fundamentals and manipulations under nods anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody said something to me one time, I believe it was Alex from Ridgeline. He said, nobody ever got good at shooting by not shooting a lot. So at some point you're going to have to suck it up and shoot live ammo. It's the only way to get those, multiple shot where you're learning how to mitigate recoil and watch your laser dance and return to target and everything like that. So, don't just take a night vision class and then not go train. Like, a lot ammo for training post class.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't just take our word for it.
Yeah.
All right, LeVar Burton.
Yeah, he wore the thing. It's
Yeah.
like basically night vision.
True.
Yeah.
In
Cool.
closing, I'm glad we could all get together as a family
Yeah.
and have this discussion. It really meant a lot to us
Yeah.
that you guys would sacrifice your Friday night.
Friday night to hang out with a
Yeah.
bunch of degenerates.
Then
like
again,
us.
there's a freaking pandemic on, and you can't really do anything. So
I do what I want.
suck it.
I do what I want.
You look like you do what you want. You look like a busted fat Chris Hemsworth.
That's a compliment too. Shit, I'll take those.
All right.
But,
So if you're interested in training with TNVC, tnvc.com/training. Check us out. Our calendar and everything's up there. Plus previous videos, education, knowledge, YouTube channels, ours, as well as Silent Solutions on YouTube. If you're interested in training with Don at Greenline Tactical, greenlinetactical.com. It's pretty self-explanatory. He's got all of his courses that he offers on there. Again, Don is a great value because he does other firearms training as well, and he's mobile, so he's all around the country. So everyone that was asking about classes, when are you going to do class here, when are you going to do class here, we're pretty busy this year, but look at greenlinetactical.com. He may have something nearby you or within about 4 or 5 hour drive as a good possibility. And plus, you'll get to make fun of Sam for a couple days if you take the class there.
You can try.
yeah.
You can try.
Yeah, $100 to whoever makes Sam cry.
Eric does not have $100. Does he look like he has $100
I don't
to
have
his name?
$100. I'm just saying that.
Get you
Just
that
saying.
iTunes gift card.
Send me
I
immediately.
need Best Buy gift card, please.
Best Buy gift card.
Yep.
So, well, we appreciate your time, guys. Thanks. And we'll try and do the training ones quarterly to follow up on our newsletter and let you know what's going on and answer your questions. Cool.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Epstein? No.
So.
Jeff.